Hello again to another Agakala React. Today we are watching Why It's Time to Stop Saving the Planet from PBS Terra, and there's an asterisk after the planet, so I guess it's kind of like a rhetorical question. And let's just start it and let's watch and what do they think what we should do or we shouldn't do?
In everything from pop culture to advertising to environmentalist slogans, we often hear that we need to save the environment or save the planet.
Save the planet.
Save the planet.
Save our planet.
We gotta save this planet. We're being stupid.
This idea portrays the natural world as a
is
place
that?
out there, separate from the human world. As if the environment is everything on the planet that isn't human and that humans don't make. But here's the problem.
We are
All
part
too
of
often, this way of thinking prevents us from seeing how we live inside of environments.
Yeah.
It allows us to distance ourselves from our responsibility to the places where people live. If we really want to save the planet, then we need to rethink how we're part of it.
Very good question.
Take a look at California's Six Rivers National Forest. For much of the 20th century, mainstream Americans defined this land as a pristine wilderness that people could visit to commune with the natural world.
We live in a truly beautiful land, which we must preserve for those who come after us.
However, this forest didn't grow to look like this all on its own. It's a product of thousands of years of tending and cultural burning by the indigenous peoples who inhabit it.
Fire's family. Fire warms our homes, it cooks our food, it protects our land, it restores our environment.
These burnings open up space in the canopy and allow floor vegetation to grow for basket weaving and food. The people who live here change and manage their environments to eat, build shelter, and move around. But humans aren't the only living things that change their environments.
Hearing a lot about next year is the wolf in the West. That's the reintroduction of wolves into Yellowstone National Park.
In
90s,
1995,
yeah.
after decades of absence due to overhunting, wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone, and they had a huge effect on the landscape.
Canis lupus is making a new debut.
They culled the populations of deer, shifting the behavior of large grazers. This allowed forests to regrow and biodiversity to flourish.
Aspen and cottonwood trees are again growing tall. Small beaver dams have reappeared, and the ponds behind them allow trout to flourish.
Soil erosion decreased. Rivers, channels, and pools changed flow and form, completely reshaping the geography and microclimate of the park. This isn't unique to Yellowstone and its wolves, or the indigenous peoples of Six Rivers National Forest. This happens on every inch of the planet. Every living thing in our world changes environments to eat, drink, and live. The question isn't whether we should change environments, it's how we change them. Humans are experts at manipulating their environments, channeling rivers to build irrigation systems, mining mountainsides to power and build our homes, phones, and cars. Look around you, and everything you see is a product of changing environments. Here, in this studio in Los Angeles, California, the power that turns on our lights comes from transforming river flows, fossil fuels, and the sun's rays into energy. The light in cameras and walls are all made out of metals and materials dug out of the ground that were processed at a factory, all products of vast environmental changes. It begs the question then, why do so many people fail to see the environment in our studio or our offices, or clothes or cars or kitchens? The separation between the human world and the natural world is a long-standing tradition in Western culture. Many of us are taught to see nature as a more authentic world out there, an escape from the chaos of modern life. Meanwhile, we ignore how we change our environments in here. For example, in the first decades of the modern environmentalist movement, much of the work focused on saving a pristine, untouched wilderness, instead of addressing pollution in urban areas.
I don't think they understood what the pollution is back then,
the
though.
Consideration that for millennia, people had managed, changed, and lived in these lands, including our national parks. So how do we change environments now? With ongoing deforestation, fossil fuel burning, industrial agriculture, and the increasing impacts of climate change, we're not changing environments well.
Their research shows rich countries are doing far more to destroy the planet than poor countries, and greenhouse gas emissions, well, they are increasing as well. The report warns that going beyond certain irreversible climate tipping points could lead to large areas in which people won't be able to live.
To produce the goods we use to live in a modern world, industries use the cheapest methods of production to pursue the highest profits. Cheap labor and highly toxic processes make everything in our lives. These industries dump their waste and emissions in marginalized communities.
US government data show air pollution and rates of cancer are well above the national average, despite claims to the contrary from the state of Louisiana.
From the urban sprawl of Houston to the riverways of Virginia, air pollution from industrial plants is elevating the cancer risk of an estimated 250,000 Americans to a level the federal government considers unacceptable.
Meanwhile, in places like the Six Rivers National Forest, people failed to see this landscape as the product of humans changing environments sustainably to provide their needs and wants. So they designated it as an untouchable protected wilderness, which has had negative environmental consequences.
When we started to suppress fire, those fuels that had been kept low by frequent fire started to build up.
The forests in many national preserves like this one, once maintained in a healthy and cyclical state of change through cultural burning, became too dense. This makes them more susceptible to frequent and uncontrollable forest fires.
This July was the hottest ever recorded in
dozens of fires
history.
burning all across Northern California.
Blanketing the Bay Area with
California's
unhealthy air.
wildfires
are record-breaking
All of them starting at once during the recent lightning storms.
Earth observation program Copernicus said 2023 was the hottest year recorded ever.
Now, in Six Rivers, tribes work with the Forest Service to bring fire back.
Protect all of these people who've come here from all over the country to help us burn and to restore our land. We're going to pass it on to our indigenous brothers and sisters so that they may lay fire on the land also.
The idea of the environment as a world apart from humans still holds a lot of power. It shapes what we do and don't do about climate change, pollution, and everyone who's affected. If we want to truly save the planet, we have to understand that our lives are foundationally environmental. We have to think about how we change our environments and how to do it better, more equitably, more sustainably, in here, for the benefit and well-being of us all.
This is absolutely right, because we can't really look at it just from, yeah, let's save the planet. It's like it's a separate thing, separate entity, is it? Let's save the planet just for the saving of the planet. But no, we have to save the planet for us, but don't just look at from, like, literally what she said. We shouldn't look just from as a separate thing, the environment and all. Everything, it's a system, it's an ecosystem, and system works on cooperation of multiple ingredients of it, isn't it? So, like that fires that she was talking about, that they were there for thousands of years, made by indigenous people, because they knew what they're doing. They were living there for thousands of years. They knew the environment, they knew what's good for it and what's not. So they knew it. I did read that article as well some time ago, that basically that's what the problem is. That was stopped 50-60 years ago, and the build-up just been too big. And that's what happens in forests. The leaves are falling, the wood is, everything is flammable there. And if it's dry, like it is in California for most of the time, it's just gonna be dry and gonna be very quick to go on fire when there is a bit of fire. It's not going to just be, gone. No, it's just gonna be on, it's a fuel, so basically gonna be as long as it's gonna have fuel. And if there's wind, it's gonna be even worse, because I keep going, keep moving. Well, that's what I like to say about it. Am I environmentalist? I wouldn't call myself that, but I do like to think about, well, let's not use this because it's not that great. Let's get something that we can reuse or recycle or something like that. Not every time, obviously, because we don't have money for that, but we are well, I'm trying anyway. We are using glass containers now, and trying have reusable bags as well with us every time when we're doing shopping and things. So we're not using any of those plastic bags that you can't actually even get them in Ireland anymore. So yeah, I am trying to think about the future of Earth, but one person is not going to change much just on our own. But the thing is as well that not every program that was supposed to be good for the environment is good, isn't it? Like just those stopping of those controlled fires, it just shows it's not. Things like that, the fact that the fire is in the forest doesn't mean it's bad. Like let's say sequoia trees, they do need fire for dropping the seeds, I believe. I'm not entirely sure, but that's what it is. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling now. Thank you very much for watching, and I see you tomorrow. Bye.